Now you have a list of names, and you want to give a greeting to each of the names, like this one here. Okay, this is the problem. Like, the first thing we want to say hello to John, and that goes like hello, comma, space, and John. And we want to say hello to Mary, and that goes like hello, comma, space, and Mary. All right. Before you can solve this problem, I want to show you the concatenation of strings. What does that mean? Concatenation. Hope I spelled it right. Let's check the spelling. Is that concatenates multiple strings? Okay, look like I spelled it right? Okay, that's good. Concatenation of strings. What does that mean? Let me show you this. I showed you that we can do the plus operation of two numbers. We can sum up two numbers by using plus, right? So if I give you 123 plus 456, what will you get? 579. Exactly, that's what you get by adding two numbers up, all right? Okay? But can I do the plus operation of two strings? Can we do that? Yes, we can. And what would the results come up? Exactly. It will, if you add up two strings, it will give you one string with the two strings concatenated together. That's the string concatenation, all right? Do you know what I'm talking about? You just put two strings together into one string. That is the concatenation. Do you know what I'm talking about? Okay? So, if you have one, what about this? If you have 1, 2, 3 plus 4, 5, 6, what will you get? What will you get? 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, 6. All right? Sometimes we need to use the concatenation of strings to combine two or more strings into one string. Do you know what I'm talking about? You need to combine two or more strings into one string, and then you can do the concatenation of two strings or more. Any question? Okay, no? Okay. All right, here. So we can use the concatenation, the plus sign, to do the concatenation. Okay? If you plus two strings, and then that is the concatenation. But now let's try to solve that problem. Let's try to solve this problem right here. So, first thing, we want to, S is equal to input dot split, and you all know what this means, right? Okay. And second thing, we want to input the greetings in one line. The greetings. Okay. Do we want to put a split right here? No, because the second line is the greetings. Sometimes we will have a greeting of multiple words, like this one here. We have a hello, that's fine. Bonjour, that's fine. But how about here? Good morning. Why is it on the two different lines? That's weird. These two should be on the same line. All right, so the answer is weird too. Okay. I will fix this. I will fix this. Good morning should be on the same line, and then it will all go to G as good morning. All right. I need to fix this. This is wrong. This is wrong. This is wrong. Let me see. Okay, and the third thing here is we want to print out all the names. We want to print out all the names with the separator of, what do we want to use as the separator? What is between John and Mary? We have after John, we have a new line. The new line and the hello and the comma and the space, right? So we are going to have a new line plus the greetings, which is hello for the first example, and a space, a comma and a space right here. Basically, this is the new line after each name. And the greetings, which is G. And a comma and a space right here. And then the next name right here. Do you know what I'm talking about? However, we need to use the plus sign to concatenate these three things together into one string, and then we use that string as the separator. Do you know what I'm talking about here? Okay, so can you do this? Can you do this? Can you do this? No, you cannot do this. If you do this, your separator will be the new line, and then you are going to print another parameter different from sep. All right, so you are not allowed to use a comma right here. You need to use plus, because you can only specify one string as the separator, only one string. But we have three things together, so we need to use two plus signs to concatenate these three strings into one. Any question? But if you have this answer isn't complete yet. Where do I go? Let's go here. 109, 120. This belongs to your. And this time I'm going to copy the first sample. So what is the difference between the output of my program and the output of the sample? What is the difference about it? There's no greetings before John, right? We don't have any greetings for John. So what do? In print, we have an and that we can put some extra text at the end of the output. But do we have a key parameter as begin so that we can put something before John? Is there a key parameter called begin at all? No. We only have end. We don't have a begin. And what do we do when we don't have a begin? What do? We use another print. We have to use another print. If you want to print out something beforehand. All right? So, we'll print greetings. We will print greetings plus a comma and a space. Can we do this? Is there anything wrong? Is there anything wrong for this output? The program put out a new line before John, right? After the greetings, there's a new line between the greetings and John, which is not what the problem is asking for. Do you see that? Is everybody watching the screen? Okay. All right. So what do? How do you take out this new line? Do you remember where that new line is from? The new line is actually from this key parameter. It's actually from this. All right. It puts a new line at the end of this print. If you don't want that new line, just delete it. Just take it out. And then there will be the answer. This will be the answer to our problem. Oh, I'm sorry. See, I'm still angry. All right, this is the answer, okay? There are a few things that I want you to know. First, can we use a comma right here? Why not? Let's try it. See if I change it to a comma. There will be an extra space right here. Do you see that? Okay. Can we fix that? Yes, we can fix that. You can tell him not to put a space in between. And then there's no space in between. Is this the answer? Yes, this is the answer. However, it takes a bit longer for you to type this. It will make the program longer and more difficult to read. So in this case, it will be easier for you to use a plus sign. It will be easier. Do you know what I'm talking about? Okay. Second, can we move this one string to the end parameter like that, and without any value? Oh, I'm sorry. Can we do that? We specify this value as the end parameter, and then it will actually print out this thing only, without putting out a enter after that. So this is actually the answer that you saw from the presentation of other classes. They already got this answer from me, and then I put it out on the so this is the shortest answer that I can give you. Okay? Any question? If you don't have any question, then let's see if I have time for the next one. See if the next one is hard or easy for you. Hello everyone. Okay. This is the vocabulary test. You all know, if I want to test you on the vocabulary of snail, usually you will only be able to see the first letter and the last letter of this vocabulary. And the rest of the letters will be replaced by underscores, underlines. Do you know what I'm talking about? Have you ever taken an English test? Have you ever do the vocabulary test inside a test? Yes. So is this what you see in the vocabulary problems? You only see the first letter and the last letter, and all the other letters in between will be replaced by underlines. So, do you understand what this problem is asking for? Do you? Do you understand this problem? And then we have to know how to solve it. How are we going to solve it? For this problem, I would just like you to know most of the operations that you can use on a list can also be applied on a string. That's what I want you to know, like this. Let me show you. If I have a list of, oh, I'm sorry, I need to use commas. I have this list. This is a list with 9 numbers, 9 integers inside, okay? What if I want to take out one of the integers inside this list? Just one, and then you need to ask me which one. Okay, if I want to take out this 6, what do you do? What do you do if you want to take out this 6? What do you do? You need to use the subscript. Do you remember subscript? Subscript. All right? And the subscripts of a list start with 0. Start with 0. So this is 0, 1, 2, and 3. So if you want this 6, and then you need to put out S3, it will give you 6. Do you remember this? Okay. However, the same thing, the same idea applies on a string like this. If I have a say string called snail, you can also give it a subscript, give it an index like 2. What are you going to get by giving it T2? There will be T0, T1, and T2. So you'll get A out of it. You know what I'm talking about? Okay? So if you want the first letter, what do you type? T0, right? If you want the very last letter of the vocabulary, what do you type? The very last letter. Exactly, -1, -1. And then you'll get the last one. What about the last one but 2? -2, exactly. Okay? Any question? So, the subscript will work on a list, and it will also work on a string. Do you know what I'm talking about here? And the second idea is that there is also a multiplication for strings. Not only the addition right here. I showed you that you can do the addition, which is concatenation of strings. You can also do a multiplication like this. Okay, now I have a string times 5. How many strings do you get by a string times 5? How many strings do you get from one string times 5? How many? This is actually a trick question. What is a trick question? What is a trick question? All right, this is a trick question. How many strings will you get by specifying one string times 5? How many? 1. You still get one string, but 5 times longer. Do you know what I'm talking about? One string, but 5 times longer, with the contents repeated 5 times. All right? With that content repeated 5 times, like this. How many strings do you get? Just one, just one. But how many snails inside that one string? 5. Do you know what I'm talking about here? All right. So, how many underlines do we need between the first and the last letters? How many? 3? Always 3? What if we have a longer word? How many underscores do we need to put between the first and the last letters? How many? We want the length of the word -2. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like, how many letters are there in snail? 5. So how many underscores do we need to put there? 3. How do you come up with the number 3? 5 minus 2. Do you know what I'm talking about here? Okay? Okay. If that's the case, let me show you the answer to it. This time, I'm going to have a S is equal to input. Do we need a split right there? No, why not? We don't have a space. We don't have any space here. We will have only one string. So don't split it. Don't split it. Don't put dot split at the end. And now we want to print the first letter and last letter, and we would like to put a underscore. 1 underscore times how many? LENS minus 2. Is that right? And now we need close parenthesis. Is that okay? You are tricked again. You guys are tricked by your teacher again. This is wrong. This is wrong. Why is it wrong? See, now you get an error. What kind of error did you get? Listen to this. Unsupported operand type minus for string and for a string and an integer. That means you cannot do a string minus a integer. What? That's not what we do. We are not doing a minus. We are doing a multiplication, and which is okay for the string to do the multiplication, right? And what is wrong? Because we will do the multiplication first, and then do the subtraction. This will give you 5 underscores. And then minus 2. You will get exactly the same error message if you do this. This is actually what you just did. You have 5. This will give you 5 underscores. 5 underscores. And then minus 2. See, exactly the same error message right here. Do you understand that? Why? Because you are taking, do the subtraction of 2 from a string. You minus an integer from a string, which is not a proper operation of Python. How do we fix it? How do we fix this problem? How? Exactly, parenthesis. That's what you are trying to say, okay? Parenthesis. What is parenthesis? This is open parenthesis. This is close parenthesis. You need to do the minus. You need to do the subtraction first. And then they will give you 3, right? And then we are going to have 3 underscores, underlines. Do you know what I'm talking about? And this is the answer to the problem. Now, if I give it a snail, and we give you, oh, something's wrong about it. The space. How do we take out that space? How do we take out that space? No, not that space. Those 2 spaces. How? We don't want any separators. We don't want you to put any separator in there, and then this will be the answer. See? You'll get 100 out of this problem by this answer. Okay? Any question? But you just learned something. You just learned the string concatenation. Can we do a string concatenation right here and right here? And then you don't need a separator because how many strings do you have right here? Only one. Is there any separator needed if you have only one string? No, you don't need a separator. So we can concatenate these three strings into one string. And then you don't need to specify the concatenate, specify the separator. Do you know what I'm talking about? Good. Any question? No? And then you can start doing this.